the able hands of the presiding officer of today. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vijay. Uh, so, firstly, I would like to apologize because I believe Toastmaster Tamaldasi did not assign a presiding officer, but uh, it's all right. I would like to take this role up for today. So, as I think Vijay sir has had a very killer opening, I don't think there's anything I can do to top that off. So, I would just like to give a couple of announcements that I feel are important. Uh, One, if I'm not mistaken, today we will be having the election for the, excuse me, we would be having the election for the post of president today for the club. So I request all members to stay back after the meeting so that we can go ahead with the election procedures. Uh, and second, mm, I don't think there are any other important announcements. So without any further delay, let us, I would like to declare the 60-second session of VTC open. And with that, I would like to hand it over to the control over to the able hands of our Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Rithik.
Thank you, Rahul. When you're 18, you worry about what everyone thinks of you. When you're 40, you don't give a damn what anybody thinks of you. When you're 60, you realize that nobody's been thinking about you at all. If at all we are lucky enough to reach Anandan sir's age, maybe we'll realize it. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I welcome you to yet another fascinating session of Vellore's Toastmaster Club. For a moment, let's imagine what other people's opinion can really do to you. The other day you went outside and somebody told you, Raghavi, you are the most wonderful human being I've seen. And then there were no bounds to your happiness. You were on cloud nine. You come back home and people at home tell you who you really are. And the cloud nine comes crashing down with all your happiness vanished. At some point in our lives, we have all cared about what other people said or thought of us, sometimes even more than what we thought of ourselves. As a result, we accepted the status quo. Our actions, appearances, and lives became molded depending on how others perceived us. How is this shirt going to make me look? What will they think if I spoke out? Am I worthy in their eyes? Our self-esteem is tied to the yo-yo of what other people think. When other people approve of you and your decisions, you feel great. When other people disapprove of you, you feel like a crap. As a result, you stop showing your own whole personality. You stop feeling like you can be yourself. You stop trusting your own judgment because you assume that other people know better. Moreover, it seems like someone is watching our every move. We live at a time of intense social insecurity. We post our lives on social media, opening ourselves to praise and criticism. It seems rare that we can keep moments to ourselves. So how is that we are supposed to dance like no one is watching when in truth everyone is? How do we embrace this practice when it is our job to perform in front of others, be it work, relationships, life in general? When should you care about what other people think and when should you not? Before I continue with the theme, let's call upon the general evaluator of the day and his team to brief us about the roles and responsibilities they hold. Over to you, Rahul.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rithik. Dance like no one is watching is something that I've always tried to do, but in reality, I'm always like that 18-year-old who keeps on thinking, what do others think of me? And today, in this meeting, my role as the general evaluator is to evaluate the entire meeting as a whole. meaning I'm going to be that person who's going to be watching all of you. And you have to think, what am I thinking of you? But before we get to that, I would like to say something. You shouldn't worry about what I think about you because it's what you think about you that matters the most. And even if I am judging you, please do understand it is from a place of no judgment and a safe space where you can grow and get the recommended feedback that you deserve by being part of this club. And I will not be doing this job alone. I have a team of people who are there to help me out, known as the tag team. And first, I would like to call the timer Toastmaster Bharat.
Hi, it's your friend's birthday, and the time is 12:05 a.m. And now your friend is scolding you for not wishing her on 12 a.m. And that's the moment you realize the value of 5 minutes. And now you have planned to propose your crush. And you went on to her, and she says, "Hey, I'm going to get engaged by next week." And that's the moment you realize the real value of time. Yes. And you also change the proverb from time is gold to time is love. Yes. A very good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. We all have our own time, but we often use this line, I have no time, but that is actually wrong. In fact, we all have the time, but we are not managing it in a perfect way. But don't worry, today I'm here as a timer and I will help you out to make your time in a perfect manner. So let's get into it. So, first, coming to the prepared speeches, the time limit is 5 to 7 minutes, and I'll be raising the green card at 5 minutes, and the yellow at 6, and the red at 7. And there will be a 30 seconds buffer time before and after the speech. So, if you speak less than 4 minutes and 30 seconds or more than 7 minutes and 30 seconds, you will be disqualified. And moving on to the table topic segments, the time limit is 1 to 2 minutes, and I'll be raising the green card at 1 and the yellow at 1 minute and 30 seconds and the red at 2 minutes. So for table topics, there will be a buffer time only after the speech. So if you speak less than 1 minute or more than 2 minutes and 30 seconds, you will be disqualified. And moving on to the evaluation segment, the time limit is 2 to 3 minutes, and I'll be raising the green card at 2 and the yellow at 2 minutes and 30 seconds and the red at 3 minutes. So if you speak less than 1 minute and 30 seconds or more than 3 minutes and 30 seconds, you will be disqualified. So that's it. So I will back with the report at the end of all your speeches. So all the best to all the speakers and over to the general evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Bharat. Up next, I would like to invite the R counter for today, Toastmaster Anant Kumar.
Thank you, Mr. Ragul. Can you hear everyone? Hello, good evening. Good evening, Toastmasters, and welcome guest. As I am taking the role of a counter, I will note the words who repeated like, ha, well, so, like, but, and more than some repeated words. So I will watching your words. Good luck to everyone. I will give the report the end of the session. Thank you. Over to General Evaluator. Hello.
Thank you, Toastmaster Anant Kumar. Up next, I would like to hand over the control to the grammarian, Toastmaster Sadhana.
Thank you, Robert. Am I audible?
Yes.
Energetic evening to TMOD of the day, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Do you people knew the one who maintained the library is known as librarian, right? And here The person one who gonna check your improper language as well as any outstanding words, quotes, sayings, or thoughts is called as grammarian. And that's my role today. I'm Toastmaster Sadhana. As a grammarian, it's my responsibility to pay close attention to all speakers, listening carefully to their language usage. I will take notes on any improper language as well as any outstanding words, quotes, sayings, or thoughts, as I mentioned before. As a grammarian, it's my time to introduce the word of the day. And today's word of the day for the meeting is multifarious. Multifarious. Multifarious, which means having or occurring in a great variety. It means a numerous thing. So it can be called as multifarious. An example of the word is there are still more multifarious duties to perform within the VTC improvement. I will repeat word once again, multifarious, the word meaning which means having or occurring in a great variety. An example for today a word is there are still more multifarious duty to perform within the VTC improvement. Each speaker is encouraged to use the word of the day. I will give the grammarian's report when called upon during the meeting. And the word of the day should be used by all, and it will be get appreciated at last. Over to the general evaluator. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sadhana. Uh, Before I leave, I would just like to reiterate some of the rules that our Sergeant at Arms had stated in the beginning. When there is, please unmute yourself only if you're speaking and mute your mic uh, otherwise. Secondly, please do try to keep your cameras on throughout the session as it is a motivation and energy booster for all the role players taking part in the session for today. Uh, and lastly, I just want to say that you shouldn't be worrying about what others are thinking about you, because while you're worrying that, the other person is worrying what you are thinking of them. So dance like nobody's watching, give it all your best for today's session. And with that, I would like to hand the control back to the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Rithik.
Thank you, Rahul. Toastmaster is a community of interesting people who share the same love and passion for public speaking. In order to get to know our fellow members, my fellow Toastmasters better, I asked them a question. The question was one thing you like doing and will do it even if you're not paid for, just for the fun of it. As interesting as they are, so were their answers. Now, Toastmaster Rahul loves to drive people around like a cab service. So I guess when our session goes offline, people coming from Satvachari, Krishnanagar don't have to worry when Rahul George is here. Just kidding though. Toastmaster so many loves proofreading. Now, proofreading is a task where you read a document and find errors in spelling and grammar. So when Somini is grammarian, remember to not make any mistakes, my friend, because you're not going to get away with it. One of the interesting things about the Vellore Toastmaster Club is that no matter how young or old you are, it's open for all. Toastmaster Vijay and Anandan sir share the same love of mentoring the youth. With so many years of life in their pocket, I would like to call them the wise owls of our club, a symbol of knowledge, experience, and wisdom. I would also love to share what other members had to say, but respecting the time we have, let's continue with our session. For the benefit of the guests and the newcomer, Toastmaster is a platform that allows us to practice communication and leadership skill in an enjoyable, supportive, and non-threatening atmosphere. The structure of a Toastmasters meet is divided into 3 segments. Segment 1 is prepared speech, wherein a speaker delivers speech from their respective projects. Each speech has a specific set of objectives. Segment 2 is known as the table topics, where the speaker learns the techniques of impromptu speaking. Table topics develop our ability to think on our feet, organize our thoughts, and express ourselves in a clear and concise manner. Considering more than 90% of the time we spend communicating each day is in informal discussions, it is easy to see why being effective in impromptu speaking is important. Segment 3, this is the segment without which the first two segments are incomplete. The evaluations. This is especially important because outside of Toastmaster, it is very rare to receive immediate and constructive feedback that we can learn from. Remember, the roles might be different, but communication is the essence of all. No matter what role you're in, there is always a space, a room to grow and improve upon. Now, before I invite the first speaker on screen, let's call upon her evaluator, Toastmaster Vijay, who will brief us about her objectives. Over to Toastmaster Vijay, sir.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rithik. On the outset, I'd like to thank you for the wonderful comparison. Toastmaster Anandan is on the terrace of the building. I am taking the stairs in the ground floor yet. So Delhi abhi dur hai, but thank you so much. Hello everyone once again. I believe the best company one should be with to ensure a holistic growth would be a combination of people who are 10 years younger than you and 10 years older than you. Toastmaster Somani is one such person from my influential circle, and I'm glad to be in the shoes of Toastmaster Somani's evaluator. The best words that would define her is Chota Pack, Bada Dhamaka. Where do I start? For starters, let me tell you the best term I could give to Toastmaster Somani would be a misfit in her generation. Surprised, aren't you? Let me make it easier for you. In this generation of Western influence, Toastmaster Somani believes strongly in her roots, and she takes it upon her to clear the air for those misguided youths. Otherwise, an avid reader, she's on a break now, binging on Amazon Prime and Netflix. Another aspect that makes her a misfit in her generation is in the times of superhero Deadpool. She's an adherent fan of a character of my time, an older generation, you know, Supandi from Tinkle Comics. I know old-fashioned people like me are already feeling nostalgic. Shikari Sambhu, Tantri the Mantri, most of you youngsters wouldn't know who they are. But Somani has her one leg in our generation and one leg in your generation. She's a perfect combination of being the epitome of misfit. I'm sure that you would have known Somani much better. Also, she's pursuing her MTech in software engineering at VIT. Toastmaster Somani shall be delivering her second speech in level 1 today. This shall be her first speech in the project evaluation and feedback. And for the benefit of the guest, let me inform the following. The purpose of this project evaluation and feedback is for the member to present a speech on any topic, receive feedback, and apply the feedback to a second speech. The purpose of this speech is for the member to present a speech of about 5 to 7 minutes on any topic of their choice and receive feedback from their evaluator. Toastmaster Somani's objective is to deliver a well-organized speech, and I shall be evaluating her on the clarity of her speech, the vocal variety, the eye contact, her gestures, the audience awareness, and her comfort level while delivering the speech. I shall provide my report when called upon. Here's wishing Toastmaster Somani the best of luck. Have a stupendious day. Over to Toastmaster of the Day.
Uh, Thank you, Toastmaster Vijay. Toastmaster so many BTS from not a fan. BTS from not a fan. Toastmaster so many.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rithik. 2 weeks ago, I patched up with my long lost love after 8 months. PVR cinemas. I was extremely excited that the theaters were reopening, even though there were no new movie releases. As a result of which, I had to choose among two Tamil movies I had already watched. There was DDLJ and a very documentary film of in the Korean language of the very famous South Korean band BTS. The movie was called Break the Silence. Out of the four movies, I didn't know which one to watch, but I was very sure what not to watch. Of course, it was BTS. The major reason was that one of my friends is a big fan, or ARMY, because the technical word for a BTS fan is ARMY, and she would never shut up talking about them. I might want to call this the hype effect, which at least once everyone might have experienced in our lifetime. It's when somebody hypes about something so much that you already start hating it even without witnessing. That is how extremely averse I grew towards the band. And my favorite pastime was picking on her, like saying things like, "Oh, Mansi, they are all looking the same. I'm even surprised how they identify one another." How racist of me. But we couldn't say no to her as she was so pumped up, and since these movies don't usually release in India, and agreed to go with her. By the end of the movie, I had to take back everything that I had told and felt very bad for being brutally judgmental all this time about them. That movie made me realize so many things, especially how entertainment industries in South Korea roll and are entirely different from what we have here, the American or the European continents, without any hint of liberalism. The first thing that drew my attention towards them was how disciplined as a band they were. From carrying their belongings to wherever they traveled by themselves, being immune to all VIP treatments, and how divine they considered their form of art. Now, this is a band that has sold 20 million physical albums worldwide, I'm talking about. This discipline enables them to practice and rehearse each and every single concert performance, however repetitive, before they go on stage. Unlike so many other big artists I've witnessed who go up with very little to no care to perform since they feel that their names have already been established and there's nothing much to prove. To understand this, I had to delve a little deeper into the culture of South Korean music industry of artists or idols. Basically, in our country, how are artists formed or picked? It's either via a talent show, social media, or via nepotism. Let's not talk about that. In South Korea, one is supposed to audition to these talent management companies, and if you get picked, they do not launch you as such. They form your band, and you're put under a trainee program where you will be subjected to extreme training and conditioning for several years, like training 10 to 12 hours a day, 6 days a week in performing arts, along with having your school to manage. The only after which, if they deem you fit, will you be allowed to launch your first album or song for that matter. Because the South Koreans are obsessed with portraying their artists as idols, a human being who's not allowed to have any flaws or exhibit imperfections to the general public. On top of this, they also control the kind of music you write and produce that has to abide by the Korean morale and principles. Now coming back to BTS, known as Pangtan Sonyeonnan, in Korean means bulletproof Boy Scouts, signifies their desire to block out stereotypes, criticisms, and expectations that aim on adolescents like bullets. BTS was lucky enough to have a talent management company who relaxed the conservative norms of K-pop. Let us not confuse that they were excused from the vigorous training, but were given the liberty to exercise their emotions through their music. The content of BTS is multifarious and a blend of exportable ideals of progressivism, expressivism, and rebellion with the Korean ideals of respect, patience, and morality. They speak about mental health, calling for change in the educational systems, their experiences with youth culture, and caste systems and asking for societal changes in the country of South Korea. The reason why they are heavily criticized and condemned in their country even now. With their album Love Yourself, they carried out the strong message to accept oneself with the flaws, breaking the concept of idols, and also led the anti violence campaign with UNICEF, addressing the United Nations 73rd and 75th General Assemblies. The band has broken multiple records, being the first to many things, topping the US Billboard charts several times, and even to be the first band since the Beatles to have four Billboard number ones within a single year. Now, what fascinated me to write and speak about them was the fact that their music had a potential to have entire concert grounds sold out, top foreign music charts, and both break and set records. The music that was produced entirely in the language of a third world country with none of its members, except one of them, could speak English. The only possible reason I was able to arrive at for this massive popularity of a non English band worldwide was the fact that whatever music they wrote and produced and performed on stage, they had truth spoken in it. And you and I submit ourselves when truth is spoken out, and no amount of talent or facades of perfectionism will matter if authenticity is absent. I started writing this as a person who was no fan of BTS and a complete outsider to the world of K pop. But at the end of it, I do not find a reason to not be otherwise. BTS is proof that art knows no language or bounds, and also a wake up call to every one of us to look for talent that is coupled with speaking the truth. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Somini. Now let's take 1 minute of our time and give the valuable feedbacks to Toastmaster Somini. You can either send her personally to her WhatsApp chat, or you can send it here on Zoom. Timer, please let me know when one minute is up.
Yeah, okay. Yes, the 1 minute is over.
Thank you, Bharat. It's time to invite the second speaker. Before I do, let's call upon his evaluator, Toastmaster Mahalakshmi, to read out his objectives. Toastmaster Mahalakshmi came to our rescue at last minute. I really appreciate you for it. Over to Mahalakshmi, ma'am.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rithik. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Toastmaster Anandan sir is going to present his level 5 project in team building about motivational strategy. The purpose for this project is for the members to practice the skill needed to build a cohesive team and host an event. The purpose of the first page is for the members to introduce team building event he plans to host and be a evaluator. I will take a note of clarity, vocal variety, eye contact, and audience interest of the speech. And I will give my report during the meeting when I call upon. Thank you. Hand over to Toastmaster Rithik.
Thank you, Mahalakshmi, ma'am. Toastmaster Anandan, Women in Toastmasters, Women in Toastmasters, Toastmaster Anandan. Sir, please unmute yourself, sir.
Okay, good evening to one and all Vellore Toastmasters members and honorable guests. Yes, this is my level 5 project, and I wanted to take it up as a really a big, a tough one. So I took team building. In today's scenario, to build a team and to get the team done is the most difficult thing, and I took it up as a challenge. And I was just wondering what topic to do, and finally it crashed inside my mind. Something which the women in Toastmasters feel and need will be appropriate at this pandemic time. So I took up this theme of women in Toastmasters, a team building, a tough one. On 15th September, I decided, and on the 26th of September, I just told the exact project to all the Toastmasters club. I'll again repeat it for the convenience of the new guests. The project is like I wanted all the participants, I wanted to select 15 women in Toastmasters from our club and from different clubs, different age group, different walks of life, so that the project will be a very successful one. The next thing was each and every member is supposed to give 5 questions regarding this. What is the need for women in Toastmasters? Totally, I will be receiving about 75 questions. After receiving the 75 questions, I will, through a Google form, plan to select the top 10 questions. After selecting the top 10 questions, I decided to get answers from the 15 Toastmaster members, women Toastmaster members, answers for the top 10 questions. That is my project, which I announced on 26th. By October 6th, I was able to collect the 15 women in Toastmasters and explain to them the project, and the project kicked off. And it took me another 15 days for me to collect the 5 questions each from the 15 members. I had to follow them every day, sincerely, honestly, request them humbly, very kindly, because all of them are busy and they really don't have much time for doing something, a little bit of extra work. So I was quite a seasoned man to request people in a humble manner, and it paid off, and I got the 5 questions from each member. So totally, after receiving the 5 questions, I put it in Google form, and then the selection of the top 10 was started off. And by October 25th, we got the top 10 questions. Then we asked for the answers from 15 members. And again, I used humble, kind words with the sense of determination, and also taking into care that not to harass or not to make the participant feel a little bit bored or not disturbing their comfort level. I was very cautious in all these aspects, and the members were also so kind enough to see that they were able to take it in a sporting manner, and they gave me the answers at last. It was a wonderful project. It was very nice talking to all the 15 members, instigating them, and getting out the answers, getting out from their heart what they felt, and it was a very wonderful experience for me and also for all the 15 women in Toastmasters. The answers for the top questions from the 15 members have been sent to Vellore Toastmasters Club and to each and every individual. All were very valuable points, useful answers, portraying their mind, thought, and feeling. It really came out wonderfully, and I hope it's really going to rock all the Toastmasters throughout the world. They, they are really going to enjoy the questions and the answers which were in the mind, and it is really going to be useful for them that the Toastmasters might take it into consideration all the changes and the requests of the women in Toastmasters field. And this time, I would like to thank and I'm honored to all the participants who took their time, energy, and put their mind, thought, and feeling into this project. I am really very, very happy that my tough project has come to an end and it has come out very successfully. I hope everyone will enjoy the top 10 questions and the answers which the 15 women in Toastmasters gave from their heart and soul. It is a great project, and I hope it is really going to bring a lot of laurels to VTC and also to the women in Toastmasters. I once again thank all the participants, the 15 women in Toastmasters who were in this group and who had put on their energy and their knowledge and time and their dedication towards it. And I pray to God that their wish, their answers be answered by women in Toastmasters. Thank you, and over to the TMOD.
Thank you, Anandan sir. So let's take 1 minute of our time and provide valuable feedbacks to Anandan sir.
Yes, the 1 minute is over.
Thank you, Bharat. It's time to call upon the presiding officer who will be acknowledging the guests present today. Over to the presiding officer.
Uh, thank you, Toastmaster Rithik. So today, from the attendance in the audience, we can see uh, uh, we have quite a few guests. Some of them, I don't think those are their real names, but yes, if any of the guests would like to introduce themselves, they can go ahead, unmute themselves, and introduce themselves to the entire club. So, if anyone would like to go ahead. Uh, I don't think none of our guests are willing to introduce themselves, and that's completely fine. But overall, we would like to thank you for joining us today. It really means a lot to all of us here at VTC for taking your time to come and attend our session. We would like to thank the guests for attending today, and back to the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Rahul. Remember the times when you were a child, how you used to turn a box of food, a house, a car, or just about anything. You did not care what others thought about the box. For you, it was a car, and that's all that mattered. As children, we all knew that this world was a big playground, but somewhere along the way, we forget it. We put down our toys and stop playing so we can take on bigger responsibilities. Today's, let's rekindle the inner child within us. Let's forget about the opinions of others. Let's be the child that we were again. Meanwhile, I found this video on internet and thought of sharing it here just before the table topics. This video is for your own interpretation, so enjoy. So let's invite the table topic masters of the day, Toastmaster Somini. Oh, sorry, Toastmaster Raghavi.
All the fellow Toastmasters. Am I audible? Okay. Hi. This is something that I wanted to lay my hands upon for a long time because for every table topic, whichever happens in VTC, the first name to be called is mine. So my time to pay back with a bang. So is there any volunteers as such? Because the title is going to be a surprise. Who's gonna be my first victim? I think Anandan sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. So table topics is something where the topic is put on the table and you pick it up and you speak on it as you like, as much as you like. Because the topic for today, that is the title for today, is Dance Like No One's Watching. My topic for you is, sir, if no one is watching you, what would you do for 24 hours? So what would you do for 24 hours when no one is watching you? Over to TM Anandan, sir.
Yes. There would be so many things I would be doing when nobody is watching. The number one and the most important thing is I would be just sleeping when nobody is watching. Firstly. The next thing is I would be dancing, listening to music, reading a lot of books, and of course, watching movies, Netflix, especially action packed movies. And The most enjoyable session is just put the music on, close my eyes, and dance like a freak out man. And especially the moves comes out very beautiful because you're not feeling shy, you're not aware that somebody is going to criticize you, somebody is going to look at you and say something bad about you. The next thing I would like to do is when nobody is watching, I would just like to sit down, pick up a good, very interesting topic and start writing because that time my mind is clear and the flow is beautiful. I could able to stimulate my mind and my hands just start to flowing and write down very important points. And the other most beautiful thing I would like to do is just sit down, close my eyes, and start dreaming about the wonderful things God has given me, the beautiful things about beautiful sceneries, beautiful people, and just start thinking about them. That's the most beautiful part of any human being. You could think how would you like that person to be, how that person was, and what is your opinion. And you could let go your mind to great heights. You could reach the moon, you could reach the stars, do lots and lots of wonderful, great things when nobody's watching. Thank you. Over to the table topic master.
Wow, that's a wonderful, interesting answer indeed. And yes, of course, I too would dance like no one is watching because no one is going to tell you anything or whatever about, the way you dance and how you are. So that's a plus point. So who's gonna be my second victim? Any volunteers, or do you want me to pick you up? Any volunteers? Yes, Rahul. Hi. So my topic for you is going to be something different. There's this one person in your life that either you want to propose to or just bombard them with words as such. Someone you hate, or it can be someone you love, but they can't see you and you can do whatever you want. So, what you would do? What you would do when this one person is not watching you? Over to TM Rao.
If nobody was watching, and just to let everyone know, it's about one person who well, hate is a very strong word, so I'll say don't like. Uh, and It's probably because of this one person who, despite college vacations are still happening, I am still suffering because I have classes, because the subject got the better of me. Uh, so, in case if nobody understood, it is one faculty who I had who taught me one particular subject. The subject is a very beautiful subject. If I think about it now, I don't know how many have heard about it. It's called thermodynamics. Uh, very apparently a very easy subject. Not so. If I had to take my revenge on this wonderful faculty, first thing what I'll do is I'll make sure his uh, bike scooter tire gets a puncture in the middle of nowhere. Uh, and that he's stranded there for at least 2 hours. So I'll show some mercy, 2 hours. Uh, then someone will eventually reach there to save him. Uh, and then this person is going to be a type of person who disciplines people for a living. I don't know what role in the world exists like that, but I feel that is the type of person who should pick him up. And then not discipline him, but teach him something like empathy and make him a nice person. Because I don't like him because of certain characters, I'll make sure that this person inputs those characteristics in him so that I start liking this faculty. Because I feel hating him is just going to consume me and he's going to win. And I like to win, so I'm going to ensure I can do everything to like that person. So that is what I do if no one's watching. Over to the table topic master.
Wow, such a wonderful thing. And don't we all want to do that to one of our faculty somewhere? And that's, I think, a wonderful finishing to your topic because, yes, hating someone is not the answer, it's not the solution, it's just going to consume you. So, on that note, who's going to be my next victim? TM Vijay. You thought I wouldn't call upon you?
I usually
Okay.
don't raise my hand because I know I'm gonna be called eventually.
Yeah, because you come up with different answers and different solutions to things. So my topic for you is going to be different. One day you have the liberty to become your wife. One day you have the liberty to become your wife. And she is going to be Mr. Vijay Surana. So what is going to be your payback? So what is going to be your payback when one day your wife is going to be Mr. Vijay Surana and you Mrs. Vijay Surana? Over to you, TM Vijay.
Thank you for choosing me and giving me this topic. There was one person whom I'd like to pick up on would be my wife. Definitely, she's a lovely wife, but there are things that she does. And one thing which I would really want to do, really want to do is do the backseat driving. I'm driving. I've been driving for like 20 years now. I've been driving so many vehicles through Chennai, through Bangalore, multi-various of times. But still, she'd be like, what are you doing? Which gate are you in? Why don't you take a left? Why don't you take a right? There's a signal. There's a bike. Let me drive. I am on the driving wheel. You're not the one on the driving wheel. The first thing I'm gonna do is put her on the driving wheel and I'm gonna do the backseat driving. That's gonna be my first pickup. Next on the line, I'm gonna nag. I'm gonna nag. The same thing over and over again. Over and over again and over again and over again. The same thing. The third thing, I'm gonna cook her green vegetables, leaves every day and feed her Karela every day, day after day. Because I'm sick and tired of having those vegetables like Karela. Who has Karela, yaar? We are living in the era of Dominoes, not Karela bones. Please, I'm gonna cook her Karela every day and ensure that she has it. If she doesn't, I'm gonna nag her again. There's so many things I'd love to do to her, but the shortage of time I have over here, let me jump to the last and most favorite thing which I want to pick her on up. I'm not gonna let her sleep in the night. You know, I am a person who sleeps very early, wakes up very. She gets all powered up to watch her videos, talk, ask, shout, sing when I'm on the bed. Why don't you become a bathroom singer, yaar? Not a bedroom singer. I'm trying to sleep here. Rithik said dance when nobody is watching. Why are you singing when I'm sleeping? Over to the table topics master.
Wow, that's a wonderful thing indeed. And yes, of course, whenever a woman becomes a wife, there's some nagging goes on, and we are all guilty as charged. Okay, who's gonna be my next victim? TM Samani. TM Samani.
Why don't you cut me some slack? I've had my anxiety filled for 2 weeks.
I'll give you a topic which you don't need to be anxious about. Okay. One day you have the liberty to roam around without people noticing you or people even seeing you. You're invisible. You're invisible like anything. So what would you do? No anxieties, no stress, nothing. You're invisible for 24 hours. 24 hours, you're invisible till summit. Over to you.
Thank you, Table Topics Master. Let me think for a while. I think invisibility is a superpower correlating with the previous. Rethink. I wish I did, sir. I had 400 books in my house, but all of them are lost now. I don't know where it's gone. So yeah, this gives me an idea. I will go to any bookstore and I will take away. I will pick all the second-hand books. They would have stocked up the ones that have the yellowest of the yellow pages. All of them kept there with no one else to buy. Maybe I will go and rob all of them and come to my house, which even the shopkeeper would be finding delightful because he'd have a space to keep something else. Maybe I would do that. And I would watch Netflix in my living room, in my TV, without having to watch it on my laptop. And then I think I think the first option was the best, and I don't have any other thing to say. Oh yeah, and even uh, pick up food from the mall. If anyone has watched the latest Billie Eilish song, Therefore I Am, you would know she would go into the mall and pick up whatever food she'd like with nobody chasing her behind and run away from the mall. Literally, she was invisible in that video. Maybe I would do that if there was a mall in Vellore. Unfortunately, there's no mall. Thank you. Over to the table topics master.
That's a wonderful answer indeed. And I would do those things also. I would drop the bookstores and I'll eat. So I think when you become invisible, please let me join in. Okay, so anyone from today's guest? Hi, anyone from today's guest who want to talk? I'll give you the simplest of things. Any guess?
The guests are not going to answer. They are all shy people. I
Yeah.
think you pick them up.
Yes. Aswini, yes. Is Aswini is there? Hello. You need not even switch on your camera. You can just speak. Oh, she's not answering. Okay, next. Realme 5i. I don't know your name. Realme 5i. This is Samsung calling Realme 5i. No. No answer. I think they are afraid of us. Okay, next. I can't read this here. It's 1IK61AJ. Can you please answer me? I'll just call you as 1I. 1I. No answer. Okay. So the last speaker, because Mahalakshmi, she put up her hand up. Okay. TM Mahalakshmi. This is going to be the last topic. So the topic for you, you have the power to convert any one of the tier into something you like or dislike. You have the power to convert any one of the Toastmaster into something or some person which you like or you dislike. What's it gonna be and for the reason? Okay, over to you, TM Mahalakshmi.
Good evening once again to everyone. Ma'am, I was excited with your topic, ma'am, because something great I didn't expect. I want to convert Devendran sir to into Anandan sir because yes, because Anandan sir, I felt is a most spirit man in the in our VTC. I felt from the starting. I felt is the one youngest man is work like a full of power energy. But I felt Devendran sir is too shy. So I have a power means I can convert uh, Devendran sir into Anandan sir to make him feel to overcome from the shyness and be a energetic person and be a sports person and make our club to ensure to next level. That's why I choose Devendran sir, ma'am, and Anandan sir also. Anant Kumar sir also. He's better. Now he's better, but Devendran sir, I'll do it. Thank you for this opportunity. Bye, ma'am.
You're welcome, and thank you. And I think two Anand sir would make VTC to go somewhere. So over with this, we are finishing with table topics, and I think everyone had a good time. The next table topic, master, please don't take it upon me. So over to the TMOD of this.
Thank you, Raghavi. Such a interesting, such a beautiful table topics as always. So let's go on with the session. Realize that 9 times out of 10, when you're worried about what other people think, it's a projection. You're projecting your own fears, your own internalized self-judgment into other people. You're pinning on them what you think of yourself. At the end of the day, it's your journey and yours alone. There's no one to blame. When you know who you are, when you accept yourself as you are, other people's opinion really stops bothering you. In today's social setting, it's hard to find real people. It's all an act. Outer appearances are masks. Rarely do we get what we see. Real connections never grow and flourish under such pretenses. This kind of socializing leave many of us unsatisfied, and we begin to crave more, something deeper, something real. But sadly, such people are rare, just as you are. Having said that, it's also important to understand that there are few people whose opinion really matter. The opinion that is unbiased, unconditional, out of pure intent are the ones you should really care about. The evaluators of today's session have spent their energy and their time just to evaluate your performance. I think these are the opinions that we should really care about. Let's not take the evaluations for granted, because I'm not. Over to you, Rahul.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rithik. So here we are today for the last segment of the Toastmaster session, the evaluation section. Uh, so when Rithik was giving his introduction about this section, just something that hit me was why evaluations are important is because it is helping you to see yourself from a second person perspective, which will help you grow. So, keeping that in mind, let's make sure we have a very fruitful evaluation session today. And I would like to call upon our first evaluator to evaluate our first speaker, Toastmaster Saumini, calling upon Toastmaster Vijay.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rahul. Toastmaster Somin, that was an exceptionally well drafted speech and delivered equally well. I'd like to specifically mention this. I could literally feel all the meticulous work you had put in to present this amazing speech. You were clear, calm, and composed all through. An observation of a lot of objectives in your speech today stands as a reflection of your dedication towards your pathway. It looks to me that you have been working on it with a goal to ace it. I'd like to make special reference to the following: truly multifarious speech. Your comfort level, the command over language, and especially the topic you chose was deep. A lot of meaning, and it's best a multifarious topic. I also want to suggest some areas of improvement which will enhance your speech delivery to a great extent. My suggestions are that you plan an introduction before you jumpstart with your speech. It helps the audience to travel with you. I would call it F-15. You know, the fighter jet US fighter jet F-15. It is known to use 30% of its fuel to take off. That's how important an introduction to any speech is. Also, I would recommend you to have vocal varieties in your speech and take a few pauses here and there so that your audience travels with you. They understand what you're trying to explain it to them. Otherwise, your speech is excelled at every level. I hope you take all these observations and meticulously put on in your next speech at this level and develop as an equally exceptional speech again. Coming to evaluation, I'd like to specify this specific thing. Have you seen the chess players when playing the game that get up from their seat and take a walk to get a different perspective of the game, looking at the game from the opposite person's angle? That gives them command to ace it. Evaluation will always give us that command over our speech. Thank you. Over to General Velveter.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vijay. Up next, I would like to invite Toastmaster Mahalakshmi to evaluate Toastmaster Anandan sir.
For my speaker, Toastmaster Anandan sir did a biggest, toughest job. Uh, Topic selection, women's in Toastmasters. He spent a quality time with the people. He created a group, create a team from different clubs and communicated with them and give the sufficiency and get a work from them and spend a lot of valuable time to analysis the best top question and answers. It is really great job you done, sir, and I know you only can do this job. And we can see from this, we can see your patience, effectiveness, dedication towards your project, which is most appreciable. I would like to congratulate for that. And you are excellent with a your ex I would like to I would like to tell your excellency in your speech, with for excuse me, sorry. I would like to appreciate your clarity of the speech. You used, which is you use the word is most clear and understood to everyone. I would like to appreciate the audience comfort zone. You make everybody feel comfort, and you make you felt you made everyone felt felt very happy to hear what you spoken, and you ensured how you spend your effect of the project, which is most appreciable. Your clarity is so good. And you I want to you have to improve in some session. That is, I was surprised with your speech in previous session, with your facial expression, hand gestures, eye contact. But this session I felt you're not on that level. You're just your vocal variety is lesser than last time. So please try to improve your vocal sounds and facial expressions towards your project delivery. And thank you to general evaluator.
Yes, thank you, Toastmaster Mahalakshmi. Now, before I go on to my report, I would like to hear from my tag team. First, calling the timer, Toastmaster Bharat.
Hi everyone, the timer is back with the report. So, regarding the speakers in prepared speeches and table topics, and also in the evaluation, there is no disqualification. Everybody were within the limits. So, I congrats all the speakers for making it, and I also give credits to my timer cards too. And that's it. Over to the general evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Bharat. Up next, I would like to call the counter, Toastmaster Anant Kumar.
Thank you, Toastmasters Rahul. Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. So I'm giving the today's sessions the words they are using the reports. As usual, Toastmasters Soumini and Anandan, they are giving their very good speech. So just we found some words they are repeated uses. Toastmasters Soumini, all words used under 5 times only. She used the word with, W-I-T-H, is more than 5 times. So otherwise everything is good. Toastmaster Anandan sir, all words used in less than 5 times. He used the word and, A-N-D, is 18 times he used. In table topics, again Anandan sir used the word and 7 times. Other words less than 5 times. Toastmasters Rahul used ha 11 times and 8 times, so 6 times. Then Toastmasters Vijay Surana, all words used less than 5 times, except he used 8 times the word driving. Maybe he's very loud to drive. Then Toastmasters Soumini used the word I will more than 7 times, and all words used less than 5 times. Magalashmi used all words less than 5 times. Thank you. Over to General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Anant Kumar. Lastly, would like to hear from the grammarian for today, Toastmaster Sadhana.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, fine. I'm sorry for the inconvenience that there is shutdown at my house, so I cannot able to switch on my camera, and I will just give my report with the help of audio. And as a grammarian, it's time for me to give the report. So I would like to tell everyone that today so many new words had been used by our speakers as well as our Toastmasters. And first, coming to TMOD, Rithik used rekindle, interpretation, flourish, unbased. So many new words had been used by Rithik. And next, coming to speaker one, Toastmaster Soumini used brutally, vigorous, multifarious. She used the word of the day, and it was really appreciable. And next, fascinate, authenticity was used by Toastmaster Soumini. And evaluator Vijay Surana sir used nostalgy, stupendous, multifarious. So he also used a word of the day. It was a wonderful thing that he did a good job. And coming to Toastmaster Raghavi ma'am, she used a victim and liberty in a speech. It was awesome, and it was really appreciable for using new words. And there is no kind of grammatical mistake that was done by everyone, but still the vocal variety, if that sounds better, then it will be very good. And coming to next, if the users, if the speakers are very good in past tense, then it will be very perfect, and rather than that, nothing. That's it. Thank you. Over to the general evaluator.
Yes, thank you, Toastmaster Sadhana. Just before we move ahead with my report, uh, just one very important thing. Just give me a second. Yes. I have sent a Google form link in the. I've sent it to Raghavi ma'am by mistake. I'll send it to everyone. Yes. Yes. I've sent a Google form link in the chat box. It is the voting for the best speaker, best table topic speaker, best evaluator, and best role player. So I request everyone to take 1 minute to vote for it. And timer, please let me know when that 1 minute is over. After that, I will be moving ahead with my report. The Toastmaster Bharat, is the 1 minute over?
Yes, 2 seconds more. Yes, the 1 minute is over.
Thank you, Toastmaster Bharat. I shall now, for those who haven't voted, please vote. And till then, I will be going ahead with my report. So just a heads up before I get into it. For those of you who remember, a while back, we had an educational session which was conducted by DTM Kalyan. So based on the feedback he had given in that session is how I'm going ahead with the general evaluation report this time. So meaning I'll not be going very in depth into all the roles, just the regular comments I have in the session. So firstly, coming to the starting, we started a bit late. I think 4 to 5 minutes late. One appreciation I want to give is to Toastmaster Anand Kumar, who reminded us that we have to start the session. So, so thank you to Toastmaster Anand Kumar for keeping us all accountable to starting on time. So this is a reminder to all that everyone can remind that we have to start the session. Uh, Now, the reason we started a bit late was also because uh, there were a few people who did join late, and I think we can afford a 5 minute buffer. But if that is avoidable, let us ensure that we're at least joining 10 minutes beforehand so we can start right on time. This gives us time to interact in the beginning, which I'm sure we all love, and get comfortable and then start the session with a bang. Secondly, the essays opening again was amazing as always. Just one thing which I want to point out on the opening was it did mention the vision of Toastmaster and the rules, which is again the most essential thing that the opening needs, because it reminds us why we are Toastmasters and what all rules have to be followed in the meeting. So yeah, so in case if anyone does get a chance to be take the SA role in the future, please do keep this in mind as well. Now just one general comment I want to keep in the meeting is, since this is a very professional meeting, we have to ensure that we are using the proper language. I've noticed a couple of instances today where the language was a bit unprofessional, which is why I'm just mentioning this point. uh, So please do try to keep the language as professional as possible. Now, coming to the overall uh, session energy and preparation, I feel the energy was really high today in the session. One, mainly because uh, our TMOD did such an amazing job with the before each session there was something to energize us. Before the table topics we had the video. I don't know if it was played without the audio. I felt without the audio it was more interesting. I don't know if that was an accident or not, but it definitely did a good job. So
So it's first time for me to attend this thing, and though I was not having very clear
also I'm
idea
hearing
of this.
something in the background, so I shall just go ahead.
You'll have to, yeah,
I
please mute
muted
it herself.
it. There's a surprise from where is it coming from? Yes. Okay. Uh, Now, coming to just one recommendation for the timer today, and this is something I'm just saying because I felt I needed to say. Toastmaster Bharat, I felt you could have shared the screen before the speaker started speaking. Because what I felt is when it was happening in the middle of the speech, it distracted the audience from the speech just for that brief second. So and just for any timers in the future as well, please, you can start sharing the screen before the speaker even starts, so that throughout the speech the focus is kept on the speaker. Mm. uh, Now, since today I did mention we did have high energy and throughout the session, one thing I felt which can increase the energy even more is if we could use the reaction feature in the Zoom meeting, or at least even, if you have a videos on, we can automatically just start clapping. I noticed it was being done more usually today compared to before, and I want this to be continued more in the future meetings as well, because it adds that liveliness towards it. So usually I had this theory that you give 100% to a Zoom meeting, you're getting 10% back. But today I felt if you gave 100%, you're getting at least 40% back. So let's try to make it one day where we can receive that, maybe one day 100%, but at least let's try to keep on increasing the percentage with every meeting. 1% is still progress. And one general instruction which I feel could have been done today in the meeting was if it would be better if all the role players rename themselves. For example, Rithik has put Rithik Jain TMOD. So it becomes easier for us to identify who the role players are. And this will, I feel it will avoid any confusion that happens in case someone forgets a role player. Today, before I started off, I'm being very honest here, I forgot who the timer is. But you guys did not know because Bharat had renamed himself as timer, which is easy for me to identify who the timer was. So again, if role players can rename themselves, it will be helping other role players as well, because we are humans, we do tend to forget at times. And lastly, I think one thing I felt energy was maintained throughout the session today. I didn't notice any the usual dip that I noticed when the evaluation session happens. I felt it is rising, 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 and which is a very good thing. And with that, I'll come to the end of my general evaluation report and hand it back over to the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Rahul, for such a deliberate evaluations. Now, as he said, the energy of the session is going up and up. I would like to continue the momentum. I would like to conclude this session with a story, with a message. Once upon a time, it happened that a prestigious talent show declares a huge dance competition in search of the best dancer in the world. The word spread around, and thousands of dancers from around the world gave their auditions for this competition. After about a month of cutthroat competition, 4 finalists were selected. This was a huge deal for them, as millions of people around the world were watching the show. The prize money was big. Celebrity choreographers, media, all were involved in it. With so much at stake, they were all curious. Everybody wanted to know who will win the competition, who will be the best dancer, how will their dance be. The interesting thing about the finalists was that their dance skills, dance techniques, capability, artistry matched each other, hence making it even more difficult for the judges and the audience to select the winner. Finally, the moment arrives for which they were all waiting. It's the finale. Today, you're either going to win everything or lose everything. The first finalist who is going to perform to impress the judges, to impress the audience, she believes that if somehow I impress the judges and the audience, I'll win the competition. But there's a flaw in this belief. She has given, as I would like to call, the remote of control to the judges, to the audience. Now, she will dance as they want, not as she wants. She will always live in the fear of not meeting their expectations. The second finalist is going to perform to beat her fellow contestants. All she cares about is winning. The flaw with this approach is, for instance, say your potential is 100 and the potential of your fellow contestant is 50. Now your benchmark becomes 50. You will never live up to your potential. She has given the remote of control in the hands of her fellow contestants. The third finalist, she doesn't care about the judges or the audience, doesn't care about the fellow contestants, doesn't care about winning or losing, but cares about her last performance. So she's going to perform today to beat her last performance. According to her, her best last performance was during the auditions. What if she's not able to live up to it today? Imagine the fear. Imagine the disappointment she would feel. She has become a slave of her own expectations, or as I would like to call, she has given the remote of control to her own expectations. The fourth finalist, however, she doesn't want to impress the judges or the audience. She has no interest in beating her fellow contestants. She doesn't care if she wins or loses. She has no memory of her last performance. All she has is this moment in time. She is going to perform today, not to impress, but to express. She is going to dance for her own joy. She has nothing to lose or nothing to gain from anybody or anything. All she wants is to express her emotions, to share it with people. And that day, she danced with no boundaries. She danced free from judgment, criticism, fear. She danced for fun, for expression, for connection, for herself. What the world saw that day was the purest form of art. What they saw that day was something they have never seen before. That day, my fellow Toastmasters, she danced like nobody was watching. Thank you for listening. I hope this message, this story inspires you like it did to me. I take my leave here. Happy weekend over to the presiding officer. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Toastmaster Rithik. Uh, I guess I've been on stage today. Uh, so with that, we come to an end of uh, another amazing session of the Vellore Toastmasters Club. A lot of inspiration to take back today from Toastmaster Rithik's TMOD role and all the wonderful speeches and table topics we had heard today. Uh, Before I move on, I just want to confirm if Toastmaster Arunesh is here.
Uh, Good evening, everybody.
Yes,
Hi, Rahul.
thank you, Arunesh.
Yeah, I'm here.
Uh, so, as I had mentioned in the beginning, we would be going ahead with the election procedure once the meeting is over. So, I request everyone to stay back once the meeting is closed. Only the members of the Vellore Toastmaster Club. Uh, with that, we are coming to an end. And just before we do so, I would like to announce the ballot winners for today. Up first, we have I'll go with the best evaluator award first today. So the best evaluator award today goes to uh, Toastmaster Vijay. Uh, so up next, we will go ahead with the best table topic speaker, and I would invite Toastmaster Vijay to give out this award.
Can you please join me in applauding our general evaluator of the day, Toastmaster Rahul, for winning the best table topic session of the day?
This isn't this isn't awkward at all, but uh, so up next, I would go ahead with the best speaker, but I would like to leave that suspense till the end. So we'll go ahead with the best role player, and it was indeed a very tight competition today, but alas, we can only have one winner, and that is the TMOD for today, Toastmaster Rithik. And lastly, we are here today to also give out the Best Speaker Award. And today, our Best Speaker Award goes to Toastmaster Saumini. Uh, with that, we come to the end of the 60-second session of Vellore Toastmasters Club, and I would like to declare it closed. I would like to now invite the Sergeant at Arms for the closing remarks.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rahul. Indeed, a wonderful session. May I request the guest if they could want to give us a feedback of our session? The meeting is over now. If they can share, I'd like to share something with us. We have one guest, I believe, Ashwini. Yes. Would you like to give us a feedback?
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, you are. Thank you.
Sorry, and I am Ashwini, and this is my first session listening. And I am a dentist, and I came to know the session through Vijay sir, and we came to know each other through the rides he's taking every 15 days, once in every 15 days, and I can't get what is this Toastmasters this club is what all about, and I'm quite nervous, and this is the first time to have a Zoom meet, and this is the first thing I am attending a Zoom session, because I'll be practicing my works in my clinic, and only I am free in Sunday, and this is very different, and I can get and I can relate something that this is all about the communication skill, and how well our vocabulary and how confident we are in every aspect. So uh, I believe that I'll be joining the next sessions too, and I'll be in the track. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Ashwini, for joining us. It was indeed a great pleasure. I
It's a
was hoping
pleasure.
it was you
Yeah,
giving the
it
name.
was me.
Yeah,
It
thank you
was
very
me.
much. And you're really observant. You guessed it right. It's all about our communication skills and leadership skills. We are given
Yeah,
leadership
yeah.
roles here. That's a very important part. Please continue following us on Facebook and
Sure, sir.
Instagram and
Sure,
join our
sir.
meetings.
Sure,
We'll
sir.
send you the links. Thank you so much
Okay,
for
sir.
joining us. And
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
yeah, we are closing the meet now. See you soon next week.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. All the members can stay. We'll have the elections for the post of president. Only the members are requested to stay back. Right, Toastmaster Arunesh, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vijay. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for a great session. We had a good session today. I would just like to bring to your notice that the election process for the post of president for Vellore Toastmasters Club for the term January to June 2021 is about to take place. Um, I will be the chair of this particular election. And since we were not able to find candidates during the last time around, we had postponed the election for the post of president to this week. And in the meantime, the election committee tried to come up with a nomination for the post of president. And after deliberations, the election committee decided to nominate Toastmaster Rahul George for the post of president. And it has been confirmed that Toastmaster Rahul George has accepted this nomination. Okay. Do we have any seconders for Toastmaster Rahul George? Please send a message in the chat box. Okay. Thank you, Toastmasters. Now the floor is open for any further nominations for the post of president. First call for any nominations for the post of president. Second call for nominations for the post of president. Third call for nominations for the post of president. Okay, the nominations have been closed. Thank you, everybody. Since there were no further nominations, Toastmaster Rahul George is unanimously elected as the president of the Vellore Toastmasters Club. Please join me in congratulating Toastmaster Rahul George. Rahul George, you can convey your acknowledgement to your members.
So at this very point, I do not know what to say. It's a confusing moment. Not confusing, scary, I would say. It's because I've always been part of a team where I've been led, and now it's up to me to lead and steer. But I know that with the support of everyone in this club, uh, it would make, I guess, I'm sure it would make it easier for me. Uh, so, all I want to say is that we have, these have been very challenging times. And when uh, when we started out uh, with the meetings on Zoom, we had no idea how it was going to go ahead. But today here we are, and this shows that how far we have come despite all these challenging times. And I'm sure with the momentum that we have built, we are just going to go up further. And if we are able to go up further, I would like to express the gratitude just because it was possible to all the past leaders of the club, without who without their setting the foundation, uh, we wouldn't have anything to build on. So a gratitude to all the leaders of the past, and looking forward to what we can do ahead in the coming term. And let's take VTC to greater heights. Yes.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rahul Josh. So that officially closes the election process for the post of president. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Arunesh. Thank you all the Toastmasters for joining us and unanimously selecting Rahul George, the most eligible candidate for the post of president. Rahul, are you listening? Thank you for the wonderful session, friends. You're not present here, Rahul. You're already planning 2021 for VTC?
I have to start planning now.
Overwhelmed with emotions.
Overwhelmed with emotions. Most eligible president candidate.
Okay.
Congrats, Ragul. As you